Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely pumped for today's deep dive because we're looking at a genuinely fascinating shift in the motorcycle world. Today, we're stripping down the specs of Kawasaki's latest 500 class machines, specifically the 2026 Ninja 500 and its naked sibling, the Z500. We're going strictly by the data, the source material, and the real-world reviews. No fluff, just the facts. So let's dive right in.
To really understand why these bikes are making such massive waves globally right now, we have to start with one fundamental question. What actually happens when you drop a big engine into a small frame? Because honestly, that's the core philosophy behind the 2026 Ninja 500. It's essentially a Trojan horse approach. Kawasaki took a highly robust, super torquey 451cc engine and just ingeniously crammed it straight into a lightweight chassis originally designed for the 250 and 400 classes.
And the results of that particular engineering choice? Well, they're pretty spectacular. Just look at this quote from the experts over at Web by Japan. They point out that these machines deliver the lightweight, high-power combination that every rider dreams of. It's a simple, brilliant combo. It appeals directly to absolute beginners who need something manageable, right? But it also has enough raw, punchy power to keep seasoned track veterans totally satisfied if they're looking for an agile weekend weapon.
All right, section 1. Big power, small frame. Let's take a closer look at the chassis philosophy.
Okay, so here we're looking at a side-by-side comparison of the two distinct flavors this machine comes in. Over on the left, we've got the Ninja 500. This one gives you the full aerodynamic fairings and super sport-style clip-on bars, meaning you get a very stable, planted front end that feels incredibly natural when you're diving into corners. But over on the right, that's the Z500. This is your naked street fighter. By ditching the fairings, it actually drops 4 kilograms of weight. It also swaps out those clip-ons for wider, flatter Street Fighter bars. That completely changes your riding posture to a much more aggressive, elbows-out stance that's just perfect for carving through city traffic.
But regardless of which style you end up preferring, you're looking at a remarkably low curb weight, exactly 1,700 kilograms for the Ninja 500. The secret sauce here is Kawasaki's high-tensile steel trellis frame, which actually draws its design inspiration directly from their supercharged absolute beast of a flagship, the Ninja H2. You're getting structural superbike strength without all the bulk. By using advanced dynamic rigidity analysis, they managed to keep the strength super high while shedding the excess weight, resulting in incredibly predictable and natural handling out on the road.
Moving on to Section 2, 451cc engine and performance. Let's see what's actually powering this lightweight frame. So, fun fact, the exact displacement isn't actually 500, it's 451cc. It's a liquid-cooled, 4-stroke parallel twin. Kawasaki engineered this specific setup to deliver a very robust low and mid-range torque curve, peaking at 42.6 Newton-meters at just 6,000 RPM. What does that actually mean for you on the street? It means smooth, immediate acceleration right from a stoplight. You don't have to rev the absolute life out of the engine just to get moving.
And of course, that engine is paired with some serious performance features. A massive standout here is the assist and slipper clutch. This is racing-derived tech that gives you a super light clutch pull, but more importantly, it stops the rear wheel from hopping and skidding when you're aggressively downshifting. Throw in a huge 310mm semi-floating front disc brake, literally the exact same size used on the massive ZX14R, thick urethane seats, and surprisingly upright ergonomics, and you've got a bike built for spirited riding that doesn't torture your back.
Now this next detail is absolutely crucial. 785 millimeters. That's the seat height. When you pair a 785mm seat height with a remarkably slim chassis design right where the seat meets the tank, it gives almost any rider a straight, completely confidence-inspiring reach to the ground. Flat-footing at a red light isn't a luxury anymore, it's a given. If you've ever felt intimidated by how tall modern sport bikes are, this measurement literally changes the whole game.
All right, section 3. Base model versus the SE. Let's see if those upgrades are really worth your cash.
So the base model gets you everything you fundamentally need: standard key ignition, a standard windshield, and traditional bulb turn signals. But step up to the SE, and things get premium. You get Kawasaki's K-Pass keyless ignition system, sleek flush LED turn signals, and a large smoky windscreen. And as a ton of riders have pointed out, that larger screen on the SE is just vastly superior for blocking wind buffeting when you're cruising at highway speeds.
But wait, the SE model actually doesn't stop there. Look at these extra goodies. You get OEM frame sliders installed straight out of the box, you get an upgraded full-color TFT dash instead of the standard LCD, and pay close attention to that third bullet point, a built-in USB-C charging port. A popular motovlogger, 2Down Dan, pointed out that having a USB-C port right on the dash makes a massive difference in the real world, just keeping your GPS running so you don't get lost out on the back roads. Plus, the SE unlocks those striking liveries, including the iconic 40th anniversary colors.
Section 4. Ninja 500 vs CBR500R. Time for the ultimate market showdown. Let's look at the hard data for this showdown, sourced straight from Zigwheels Philippines. Right off the bat, you can see the Ninja 500 has a significant price advantage, coming in roughly 35,000 Philippine pesos less. But look at that weight row. The Ninja is a staggering 25 kilograms lighter than the Honda. I mean, 25 kilos. That is a massive difference when you're throwing a bike into a corner. It also boasts slightly better ground clearance at 145 millimeters, giving it a bit more versatility over really rough city streets.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The engine difference. The Ninja 500 pushes out 51 horsepower compared to the CBR's 46.9. When you combine that higher horsepower with the fact that the Ninja is 25 kilos lighter, you get a phenomenal power-to-weight ratio. That's exactly what translates into that rocket-like agility off the line.
To be completely impartial here, let's look at the expert consensus on the Ninja's pros and cons. Reviewers universally agree it's an incredibly agile, city-friendly head-turner with fantastic power. However, on the flip side, it is inherently going to be pricier than your entry-level sub-400cc bikes. Also, a few riders note that because of its lightweight nature and the twin-cylinder setup, you might notice some vibrations buzzing through the pegs and bars at higher highway speeds. It's kind of a slight trade-off for having such a feather-light corner carver.
Okay, final section. Section 5. Smart tech and connectivity. Let's explore the digital ecosystem.
Kawasaki offers this surprisingly seamless flow with their Rideology app. It's basically a simple 4-step process. First, you pair your smartphone via Bluetooth, which lets you view all your vehicle info remotely. But steps 3 and 4 are where the magic really happens. You can record your riding logs to track your GPS routes, and get this, you can actually tune your Kawasaki riding management files right on your phone, say while sitting at a coffee shop, and then just sync those exact settings directly to the bike's dash.
The app handles all the brilliant everyday conveniences too. You can track your odometer and fuel gauge right from your living room couch, get alerts for your upcoming maintenance schedule, and even get telephone and mail notifications popping up on your instrument panel while you're riding. It even logs your exact gear position and RPM throughout an entire trip. It definitely proves that the Ninja 500 is as smart off the track as it is fast on it.
So, wrapping this all up, by taking a high-torque 451cc engine and dropping it inside a nimble 170-kilogram lightweight frame, Kawasaki has created an unforgettable ride that perfectly bridges the gap between everyday usability and those weekend adrenaline thrills.
Which leaves us with this final thought to consider. With its unique blend of lightweight agility, heavy-hitting power, and totally modern tech, is this Trojan horse formula the ultimate sweet spot you've been waiting for to put in your garage? It's a pretty compelling argument, and honestly, the data speaks for itself. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your curiosity in high gear until next time.